Samantha from Jessima Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Sutton slice from polymer clay. Now what I've got here is translucent clay, and that's going to be part of the colours that I use in today's Sutton slice. Feel free to use any colours you want for your Sutton slice. It does not need to be the ones that I show. But what I'm going to be doing is colouring my translucent, so I'm just cutting it into 3 pieces, and I'm then going to be applying 3 different colours that I think look nice together. And today I'm going to be using Primo, so this is Primo Translucent, Primo Coral, Primo Apricot and Primo Alizarin Crimson. These 2 colours have been discontinued, so I have linked down below a link to the Sculpey website where it shows you how to mix up those colours for yourself. But what you're going to do is you're just going to take a pinch of these colours and you're going to add them to your translucent. I'd say roughly 1 part of the colour to 10 parts of the translucent. And then you're going to take that and you're going to mix all of those colours up to get semi-translucent colours. If you want the colours to be completely translucent, you can use something such as alcohol ink to colour the translucent. And there we go. That's how those colours should look. They should just have a nice semi-transparent effect to them. And then from here we're going to be making a marble from these. And so I'm just going to basically rip each of them up into 3 pieces. And we're just going to take those and just pop them together at random so that we can marble that together, because I don't want these colours to be as stark as they are when we pop them into the Sutton slice. There we go, and then just bundle that together. And then we're going to start rolling and twisting, and that will start to kind of form a little bit of a marble. And I don't want to go too far with it, just want a little bit. That should be enough. Just make sure to twist up those edges because they always tend to get left out. There we go. Then just take that and give it a squish, flatten it out. And by flattening it out, it will already start to kind of semi-blend those colours together. And I'm going to do a little bit more. There we go. And then from here, I'm going to end up using that for the Sutton slice. So I'll pop that to the side. You're then going to choose your texture stamp. Any texture stamp will work. I'm going to be using this one. It has to be a flexible texture stamp. That's the only rule. If it's not flexible, you're not going to be able to peel it up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this marble that we've created, and you're going to press that down into the stamp. And I'm just going to continue doing that, and I'm doing that in little bits because I don't want it to be all one consistent pattern. I want it to have little blotches, and you just want to squish that into the pattern. And then you're going to take a blade, and I would advise doing these in little bits. Don't try to cover the whole texture stamp to begin with because the clay can lift out quite easily. But you want to essentially shave off the top part of that pattern, leaving only the last little bit in the texture. And then you're going to continue doing that until you've filled out enough of the texture to create whatever you want. In this case, earrings. So you just squish down and then shave over the top. Alright, and this is more than enough for my purposes. And you should be able to see from the back how that looks. It should only be in the textured areas. And then from here, I would advise just going over it very lightly with your blade to make sure that there isn't too much sitting on the surface, this is just a good way to kind of clean up any areas where you might have not shaved quite as cleanly as should have been. There's a little bit over here. Just be careful because it's still quite easy to lift this up out of the texture, and so there's kind of a middle ground between going in and making sure it's clean and ready for the next step and accidentally lifting stuff out of the texture. So I think that should be just about ready. You're then going to want to grab your background clay, which is going to be this Sunshine Yellow Primo, and I'm just going to take that and you're going to place that over the top of your texture. And then I'm just going to bring over, grab a baby wipe. I'm just going to use this so that my fingers don't stick, and I'm just going to press down onto that texture and then just apply a lot of force because you want those layers of clay to bond together. So the stuff that's in your texture you want to bond to your background piece because you're going to be peeling it up out of the texture, so it's important that everything gets stuck together. And that should just about do. Lift that up. Then you're just going to take that and just pop that down, and you can give it another press from the back here to get everything stuck. And ideally you want it stuck to your work surface, and then you're going to slowly peel this up, and with any luck that clay should release from your texture cleanly, revealing your Sutton slice. Let me just lift that up and show you what that looks like. And I really do like this effect, but that part right there where you kind of peel it up is the reason why it needs to be flexible. Well, there you can see how that looks. Then what I like to do is just pat it with the back of my hand to make sure that everything is indeed stuck together, because sometimes those pieces can be a little floaty, and this doesn't reduce the texture, it just makes sure everything is stuck. And I'm just going to pop this to the side because I want to now work on the backing of the piece, because it doesn't look great and I want it to be more patterned than that. And I have plenty of this marble left over, and I'm going to end up using that. So just take that, I'm just going to pop it into a more square shape. There we go. Just roll that out a little bit. And then I'm going to take my texture, and this time I'm just going to do a normal texture imprint. Just going to take that and I'm going to pop that down into the texture, and then again I'll just use a baby wipe to make sure that my fingers don't stick, and I'm going to press that into the texture. Okay, then I'll just peel that up, and that's just your normal basic texture, and just stick that down onto your tile. And I'm just going to be shaving off the surface because I thought the pattern looked quite cool when I was doing the Sutton slice, so I thought, why don't I kind of create a little bit of a ghost pattern for the backing. And it's just a nice simple pattern. It's not going to be very it's not going to make a bold statement, it's just going to be a little bit more interesting than a solid coloured backing. There we go. Then I'm just going to use my roller to flatten that out, just thinning it out a bit. And it's just going to kind of have a swirled pattern. And there we go, that should just about do. Then that is going to go on to the back of the Sutton slice. I'll bring that over, flip it, and just pop this down onto the back. Okay, and then just smooth that out, making sure that there's no air bubbles. There we go. Then I've just transferred it onto a piece of paper, and I'm going to be using this narrow oval cutter to cut out my earrings. Just going to position that, and because I'm cutting on a piece of paper, this is probably going to stick in the cutter, but it will mean that the back has a nice matte finish. And you should be able to just pop it straight out of the cutter. There we go. And there's the back. And you'll repeat for your other earring. There we go. And then just pop that out the cutter. And if you don't want it to stick in the cutter, you can always just cut it out on your tile. You just will need to sand the back of your earring. So I find that this saves more time. And I'm just going to pop those to the side. They're going to get baked on that piece of paper. And I'm just going to bring over kind of the little bits and pieces that have been popped to the side. And I'm just going to cut off some of that because I want some beads. And I think that this will make a decent bead. So I'm just going to trim that to shape because I want my beads to both be the same size as each other. I don't like that piece. There we go. And just kind of trim those to size. And these are just going to be accent beads. You can feel free to skip this if you want. And this is a little thicker than this, so I've gone and made it a little smaller. And just squish that together and roll. I just want a simple marble. Do the same with this one, just kind of squish that together and roll. And this one's a little bit larger, so I can always just trim off a little bit because the pattern is not complex in a way where you can't trim it. And then just get those into circles. That should work. Then I'm just going to use this acrylic block to flatten them out into rondelles, making sure that they're the same thickness as one another. And then I'm just going to pop that onto the piece of paper with my ovals. And then this is going to get baked for about 40 minutes at Primo's recommended temperature, and then once it's done we can do a little bit of sanding, varnish it and finish it all up. And here is how they look once they're out of the oven. That translucent is cleared up a little bit, and once it's been varnished it should have a fair bit of depth to it. I then went ahead and sanded the edges, and I've got the first coat of varnish going on the back. You can see the back looks quite cool. So it's now double-sided earrings. But the varnish that I am using is Varnishing water-based gloss varnish. I'm just going to be applying a coat of that to the surface, and I will apply it in taps so that I get the varnish into the crevices. And that's going to take about 15 minutes to dry. Once that's dry, we can then move on to the assembly process. And also, here are the beads. Let me actually show them. Those are the beads. I'm not really happy with how they look. I've decided I'm going to eliminate them from the design. I'll use something else instead. I'm just not a huge fan of how they look. So those are gonna go these into the back and I might use them in a future project, but for now they're not going to get included in this project. Alright, and here is how this looks once that varnish has dried. Here's how that back looks, and the front has a nice sheen to it. It's not going to be incredibly visible because of the texture, but it does have a shine. From here I'm going to be drilling our hole, and I'm going to use a little handheld pin drill for that, and I'm going to drill at the top of the oval. And that should only take a couple of seconds. Polymer clay is quite soft and easy to drill through. There we go. And then from there we're just going to be assembling our earrings, and that should be nice and easy. I'm going to be using copper because I think that specifically antique copper findings will look quite nice with the design, but feel free to use any colour of metal finding that you want. And you're just going to be linking through a jump ring and then popping on your ear wire, and it's nice and simple as that. And there we go, that is just about it. Let me just bring over the other one because I have finished that one as well. And there we go, that is just about it for today's tutorial. I do hope that you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing. If you would like to support the channel so that I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider becoming a member. There is a join button just below this video where you can become a member of the channel and gain access to these videos early, as well as exclusive access to videos that are only available to the members. Another way to support the channel is to check out my Etsy store, Jessima Design, where I sell things such as the cutters and texture that I used in today's video. That is linked in the description below. Also, if you're looking for other tutorials, like maybe the Sutton slice didn't work for you, I have shown this technique in a variety of other videos, so just consider typing out Sutton slice in the search bar on the channel and there'll be a variety of different ones that you can find. But that is just about it. I do hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.